Welcome. It's good to see everyone here today. This is the 95th annual reunion, and we want to let you know that we're planning something really, really big for the 100th reunion. So we want to keep that in mind as we attend the rallies until then, or the rallies. attend the reunion. Yeah. Okay. And but anyway, we just want to welcome you here today and thank you for coming. And let's get the word out for next year. And maybe we could double the size crowd by next year. Okay. I'm going to introduce who you all know is Burgin Lytle, and she's going to give us a little devotion and prayer. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. So today, we're going to talk a minute on our devotion. We're going to talk just a minute about when our loved ones pass away. You know, and even sometimes it's not a loved one; it's a friend. But and you go to when you go to the funeral, and you go to the funeral home, and you go to the cemetery. And you say, when you're leaving, you say, now if you need me, you call me. Right?
Yep.
We always say that. What makes us, I just did this a couple weeks ago, Ricky had a cousin die, but what makes us think that loved one is going to have time to call us if they need us? We should be there for them. We should go run that errand. We should run to the grocery store for them and do that, because they shouldn't have to remember to call you and say, I need, okay, or can you, because they're not going to, because they're grieving, and they have other things on their mind. And I just read that somewhere, and I thought, gosh, that's so powerful, and we all need to remember that. Let's remember that next time you have a friend and you're talking to that friend's spouse. Just say, I'm going to be there on Wednesday. What you want me to bring? What you want for dinner? Or does the dog need to go to the vet? I got 5 dogs. So, yeah, does the dog need to go to the vet? I'll be glad to take it for you. So, please remember that. Today, for our prayer, I thought it'd be great if we all did this together. And I printed, it's on the printer. We're going to read Psalms 23 together for our prayer. Okay? It's on your little pink sheet. I'm gonna start it, and then let's hear everybody, girls and boys, all those angels back there, Grandma's angels. All right, ready? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Forever. Thank you. Amen.
Okay, Howard has set the bar high. Y'all are going to really have to sing. Let's stand. You sing much better when you're standing in the sweet by and by. We're going to sing verse 1 and 3.
All right, here's the microphone. I get to introduce someone. Her name is Teresa Shadowan, and she has quite a few accolades here, and let me tell you about them. Teresa has worked in the Palm Beach County Schools in Florida for 13 years. She also has worked with the Avery County Schools in North Carolina for 25 years. Teresa received her BS degree in history from the University of North Carolina in Charlotte and her Master's of Education with a certification in administration and curriculum instruction from Atlantic University. She took a break from teaching in 2002 to serve as assistant principal as well as a 21st century learning specialist. She returned to the classroom in 2009. Her leadership experience evolved into serving as a public relations officer and a grant management and education director prior to retirement. Currently, Teresa is working on completing an MA degree in American Government and History at Ashland University. Of note, Teresa has been a Fulbright Scholar, George Washington Teacher Fellow, White House Teacher Institute Fellow, and a member of the U.S. Constitution Center Teacher Advisory Board. Most recently, she became a member of the Jamestown Society. Teresa now considers the opportunity to serve as the new director of the historic Carson House near Marion as the capstone of her career as a grant writer, historian, and educator. Please join me in welcoming Teresa Shadowan as our guest speaker today.
Technical difficulties. Okay, 1 second while I get it going again. I apologize for us not being able to see it online. I will take the my PowerPoint over to the dinner, and so if you'd like to, if you'd like to sit and you would like to see it, and I'll explain it because I did put some new pictures that I found. So I will be glad to do that for you. Let's see if everything's showing up. Oh yes, no, please show up. Download. Technology, it doesn't matter what you do, it always has a way to. Okay, let's see if that goes. Okay. Maybe not. So maybe I will have to just kind of wing that little bit. How's that? I'm a teacher. I can do that. Okay. I am a teacher. I've been a teacher since I was a little girl. I used to teach my dolls. Those are the first ones. I was 3. Okay, so I guess I'll start. Thank you, Ron, for such a nice introduction. It is a pleasure to be here and to represent the historic Carson House, and indeed, it is the capstone to my career. I come from a long line of family members who have served our country. Let me start off by recognizing, if you've served in a war, would you please stand? Anybody?
Daddy did, but
Okay, okay. Raise your hand if you had a father or a grandfather. Okay. Great-grandfather. If you are a Burgin or a Lytle, you have gone back to the American Revolution. I can attest to that. I just recently was a member of the Jamestown Society, and I have gone through and done my family research. Shadoan is a French name. That's not my local name. My local name is Hughes. My mom's family were the Jennings and the Banners that settled Banner Elk. But the Jennings family came from Rutherford County, so my family history is regional to this area. And I actually did a little bit of research, and I'm a collateral cousin. I'm not a lineal descent, but I am to Joseph McDowell and to Rachel Carson. And this morning I discovered I'm related to Harriet Burgin. So hello, cousins. Good morning. So I guess you are here for a family reunion. Now, you know, the oldest family reunion is actually right over in Franklin, North Carolina. It goes back to 1853, the Seiler family. They've had one since 1853. It's the oldest one in the United States, which I think is really unique. But how many of you have gone to at least 20 family reunions? 30? 40? Well, guess what's coming up down the road? Your 50th reunion. And I would like to say, as the director, I really would love for you all to put together a Burgin collection, and I would like to see if you would be willing to loan that to us at the Carson House. And the year of your 50th reunion, 100, your 100th, that you come in, and it is on display for everybody in the area to see. We are going to be doing special collections, and I'll be talking about that, but I think that would be a wonderful place to do because we are all connected through tangled roots, through families, and I have discovered that as I do genealogy and research. Sometimes you have to be careful who you talk about because they could be your relative. But where do reunions come from? Reunions have a very long history. They go back, the oldest ones that we see in the United States, for the most part, for most of us, they go back and they date back to just after the Civil War. And why did they have those? Well, one reason, that was how the former slaves were able to reconnect with their families. That was one of the most important ones. But the other one was for Civil War veterans. And that was a way for them to come back because many of them had family members who fought for the North, who fought for the South, and they did this as a way for reconciliation, was by having those family reunions. And I remember as a child going to family reunions all the time. We drove down from West Virginia to Banner Elk, and we went to family reunions, and we combined ours with decoration. How many still do decoration here? Anybody? Yeah, that's a dying art. It's going away. So we start doing ours next month, and all the granddaughters, we get together, and my grandmother's gladiolas still grow. She's passed many years now, 20 years, but we still do the gladiolas, and we cut them, and we make our own. We're the only family that still does the handmade flower arrangements, and we put them on the graves of our ancestors. And that was something we were taught as children. And so I don't know if you do that or if you just do, put something there, but we do that, and we do real Christmas trees at Christmas. But that was taught to me as a child. And that's one of the things I want to speak to you about with history. You have to remember that history is not just for the living and the dead, it's for the future generations. And when I was a child, I didn't want to hear the stories. They would get to be talking, the older people would talk and have their tea, and I would leave the room. That was the time when children went to play. I would encourage you to have your grandchildren, nieces and nephews, to sit down and start telling them some of those old stories, because now I look back and what I would not give. I would give all my teeth if I could sit back and have all those stories written down today, because once they're gone, they're gone. So history is a way of preserving not only our family traditions, but it's also about preserving our culture. It's about preserving who we are as a family. And as I did some research here, there's a lot of family ties. There's a lot of family allied, what you call allied family groups. And allied family groups are where, as people moved and they went to the frontier, they had to have support. So you had friends that would go, maybe 4 or 5 different friends or family groups, they would go. And of course, when they had children, who did they marry? They married the family groups. I'll give you an example. My fourth great grandfather is Dr. James Calloway. He was a prominent Confederate surgeon that served in the Civil War for the South. And his grandfather was Thomas Calloway, who was Daniel Boone's best friend. Sarah Boone Wilcoxon is Daniel's oldest sister. She's my 6th great grandmother. But you see the Calloways, the Wilcoxons, the Cutbirths, they're all related. And that's that particular family group. You go to another family group and you'll have, and I notice you have some Walls in the family group. Does that sound familiar, that name, Wall? I have Walls too. And they probably came from the same area. If you do genealogy and you do history enough, you will find that we are all interconnected some way. It may go back 10, 12, 14 generations, but we are all connected. So that's why it's very important to study your history. Write it down, collect those family Bibles, collect those artifacts, because one day when you're gone, you want those preserved. And there's always one person in your family that is the keeper of the records. Do you know yours? Who is the keeper of the records in your family? The family genealogist. It's very important to do that. And with today's technology, I would encourage you to start a family group on Facebook so that you can reach out, you can keep information. That is a wonderful way to keep your family and to share records. I actually got to meet some family members that go all the way back to Scotland. They were at the Highland Games, Clan Napier. But Dr. Patrick Napier, he is one of my Jamestown ancestors, but it goes back further. His wife married a man who they're related to, Joseph Royal, who's a Jamestown, he's an ancient planter. He's an original settler of Jamestown. And what was interesting is I went through and I find all these Jamestown ancestors. I start seeing that I'm related. I mean, all my families, they kind of like all trickle down. They start off and then they just kind of trickle and they get wider and wider and wider. And so you're related to everybody. It's really, think about it. You have how many grandparents? 4. You have 8 great-grandparents, 16 2G, 32 3G, 64 4G, 128 5G. 6G, you've got 256, so that's about where the American Revolution starts. It's somewhere between 5 and 6. It could be 7, so if it's 256, now you're at, 26, 26. 512, thank you. And then 1,024. And when you get to about 1,024 to 2,048, you're about Jamestown era, about 1607. So you have family members. You may not think that you're connected to somebody that far back because you just know your family history right now. But today we have Y-DNA, which comes through the mail, which is a great way to trace ancestry. There's all sorts of ways through 23andMe, through MyHeritage, Ancestry.com, and they all have ways where you can trace your family. Just so you know, we are going to be setting up, if you are local, we're going to be setting up a family search center at our new place at the Carson House, at our new interpretive center. And there will be a place, and we'll have our genealogical library there that you can come in, and I will be able to help you, as will staff members, be able to find some of your genealogy and some of your roots. Does anybody have any questions before I go on? Yes? No?
Yeah, you were
Yes.
talking about the Decoration Day, and that was always, I know on my grandmother's side, that was just that was like a family reunion. Yeah, and we made these flower things. And when you said that, I had totally never even thought about that.
You do, and it's very, when you go back, I mean, going back all the way to European wars, they had the cockades that they wore in their hats that signified what branch of the military that they were in. There's a lady that makes them in South Carolina, she's Southern Cockade, she has this, and they signified what military rank you were in, or what branch, or if it was, if it was a particular war, they had them. And she makes also the ones that they called them the cockades, but they also had, during the Civil War, they wore the sawgrass, they wore the palmetto that was made out of the straw in South Carolina, were very popular on the cockades, and they would put them on their hats. And then the women, and that was very common, we're talking probably post-revolutionary, you started seeing women, but the Civil War is really where it was known that they would wear the mourning dresses and they would wear the mourning brooches. And the women would have, if they had access to the hair, they would cut the hair, and you would see the lockets where they would wear that to remember their ancestor. And I never really understood that until I was much older, because my mother had clippings of her daddy's hair and her great-grandfather's hair. They were in the family Bible, and I didn't understand why. But that was just part of the culture and tradition that they did. And a lot of that dates back to Civil War, even earlier.
Yeah, I remember seeing older ladies with things like that had been handed down.
Mm-hmm. They're handed down, and the mourning dresses, the black, they would wear those for a year. They would be in mourning for a year. And that was very, very common, and everybody dressed in black. And so that's why you see today, we still see some modern day things where, like if officers die, or if a police officer or fireman, they'll put it on their badge. You'll see people, they'll wear like an armband. They do that, but it all goes back to previous ancestors. So they just kind of modernize. It's like when you go to a funeral, the most common color that you wear is black. Mm-hmm. But that goes back. So the Carson House, we know that we're tied to that, going back to 1793. And we know that this particular area was the frontier. And we know all the different allied family groups. There's numbers of houses that you can see in this area. I'm really surprised. Avery County has not done a good job of keeping historic homes. There's one that they have, the Banner Museum in Banner Rock, but most of the other ones, the old historic ones, the oldest ones, they've been torn down and gone by the wayside. There's very few left. McDowell has a gem in the Carson House, because it is really a true treasure for McDowell County. And there are other houses that belong to the Carsons. I did pictures of those that you could see over the last 100 years. There's numbers of them. There were some that were built during the 1830s and 50s that you can find. There's one, the William Carson House, that's up to Lake Tahoma Road. That's still there. It's covered by bramble. You have to know where to look for it, but it's a brick house. It's beautiful. But we have on the property, we have collected, it seems to be since the Greenlee sisters, thank goodness for them, that they had the vision and foresight to save the house. So there's another one of our local names that is intertwined inexplicably with the Carson House. But they were the ones in 1966 that were able to save the house, and then it was later put on 1970, it was put on the historic register. And people how many volunteered there, grew up there at the Carson House? Anybody go on the school reunions or the school trips? Right here.
Taking kids there.
Taking kids, and we still do that all these years later. We just finished a summer camp this summer with Girl Scouts, and we are actually developing a historic Carson House badge. I'm meeting with the council this week, and we're going to develop that, and it will eventually be available from Franklin all the way to Greensboro, for the peaks to mountains, or the peaks to Piedmont. And we're going to develop that. And the only way you can get it is if you come to the historic Carson House. So that's just a way to bring history into the future with kids. But we do have everything, I will tell you, everything during the flood. We survived remarkably well. Who has not been to the Carson House? Okay, there's a couple of you. So you'll see the slides that I'll show you over at the fellowship hall or at the fire department. But there used to be these over 100 years old, these boxwoods. Well, they were destroyed, so they had to be taken out. And they were all in front of the house. And so those are gone now. There's a few left to the side that are a little bit higher up, but the ones leading up the walkway were taken out. But it is remarkable. I mean, everybody was like holding their fingers and crossing and praying that nothing happened to it. So it has survived every flood that's come through the area. And so it's still around. Where did you go to? Oh, technology, go away. So we do have an event coming up. Is anybody close that is here in town or nearby? Anybody around this area? We are going to be having an event on September 28th. It's a Sunday. We're going to be dedicating the historic Moore Cabin. It was over in Buncombe County. It was rescued by, and it is from a Revolutionary soldier. So it is now, we have one that is, it's being placed on the property and dedicated on Sunday the 28th. We'll be posting that, but the details will be out. But that'll be a great place to come in. And then next year, April 16th is going to be our date. I'm so excited. It's going to be our new interpretive center at the Carson House. We have received quite a generous donation from a family to help take the Carson House into the next 50 years or longer. But this interpretive center will focus on special collections, and that's one place where we could put Burgin family items if we did a special collection before your 100th reunion. We could have like a Potter's reunion. We could have a Potter's event there and have historic property. I've been looking at some of the historic Hilton pieces in the area, and that would be quite nice to have some of those on display. But we're going to be focusing on, we're going to be doing an interpretive center that's going to focus on the life of the Carson family and that time period. But we have some beautiful pieces. We have one of the finest quilt collections in the area, and we're going to be focusing on several pieces. My favorite piece is the Eliza Carson sampler, which comes from one of our Black descendants, Carson family members. So we have a whole section in our new interpretive center that's devoted to the enslaved community, which is one thing, and I'll say that's something really unique about the historic Carson House and this community, is that you have descendants that are both Black and that are both white. And when you teach history, nobody wants to teach history the correct way anymore. They want you to erase it or revise it. It's important to teach the good, the bad, and the ugly, because if you don't teach it, your culture will cease to exist. And as a civilization, it's very important that you know your history. And whether it's family history, good, bad, or ugly, you need to teach it. And it's a teaching tool. So we are going to be having the Interpretive Center focus on that as our first major collection, and that will be there for children. And we'll have our first group of school kids come back. We're so excited. We're opening up that weekend of the September 28th, and we have the Over the Mountain Men, Over the Mountain, the OBTA Society will be there. And so the historic partners who, they work with us, and they're our volunteers. They're the heart and soul of the Carson House. They're our docents. They volunteer. They do everything from fundraising to cleaning to, I can't even imagine all the work that they do. The list goes on and on. But they are going to be, they've put together a nice list of things that are going to be going on all the way up through December, where we do candlelight tours. So we are very proud to have on display on the second floor of the house, there is a picture of your ancestor. That is Harriet Jane Burgin. So there is one of your relatives.
Yeah, and I looked on my family tree, and she is my third great aunt.
Third grade aunt. So many of you should be able to have a connection.
Yeah.
If anybody has a picture that is better, I would love to have it and be able to replace that. So if anybody has some Burgin family pictures, I would love to have them. Right now we are currently, we're about halfway through cataloging all of our genealogical books. We are going to have a genealogical center, like I said, but we're going to be moving those over to the interpretive center, and we're also cataloging all of our artifacts, our historic artifacts.
And I think the Lytle family is also connected with the Carsons as well.
That is another family name. I've also seen the McDowell name is.
We definitely need to highlight those connections. Yeah.
And those are some things that we need to do as well, like who are you kin to is a great way to do, have a day to come out and people to search for their family. But there are some things that we need to do about looking and having ongoing collections and changing those, because we do need to recognize all of our family. And for those of you that aren't aware, the Carson House is actually where McDowell County received its charter, and it was written. So, and it was in the dining room table, right there where we are in the front room. So it is an important piece of history, local history for McDowell school children. What would I encourage you to do? I do have one little thing else, so let me find it on my phone. I do better when I have my PowerPoint because then it reminds me. It's like my visual memory. I don't know if that's how you all are, but that's how I am. So I was trying to find it. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to show up. It's not going to show up. Okay. Well, with that in mind, I've given you a little bit of background of the history of the Carson House. You'll see a lot of it on the slides. I'll put those over there and you can just play the PowerPoint as you go. I'll have it ongoing. But it is indeed a pleasure. I'm very, very excited to be here. I'm just not one of those that retires very easily. I lasted 2 weeks in North Carolina and I went to teach in Tennessee for 3.5 years. And I came home in February and I thought, what am I going to do? And I just, I didn't like it at home. I can only do so much at home and watch so many things on Netflix and watch so many documentaries. And I kept looking for the right place. And I gave it up and I really prayed about where I was going to be placed. And I really thought I wanted to do something with education. I wanted to do something with history. I wanted to do something with genealogy. And I really love to fundraise. So I really prayed about it and gave it. And, you can say that when you've been raised in the church. It was a God thing. It really was. And God put me in the right place at the right time. And so when I look at all the things I've done in my life, this is kind of like taking everything I've done in my life, my entire life's experiences, and it's put me at the Carson House. So although I'm up on the mountain and I drive down every day, it's a great way to come to work every day and to be at a beautiful place and to be at a house that is so treasured by the citizens and the families that are connected to it. It is indeed an honor and it's my privilege to serve you. You're welcome. It is your house as well. Please stop by and see us anytime. You have an open invitation to come see us and use our facilities. Just let us know. We're a phone call away, okay? And I would love to see you become members of the Carson House if you would like to and be part of the family. Thank you.
Well, I was asked to sing Amazing Grace, and I'm inviting you to sing along with me, if you like. I know it's not in your, the words aren't in your bulletin, but most of us know this by heart. I'm going to do the first and last verse.
Most everybody here probably knows us, but I'm Jeannie Walker Elliott, granddaughter of Hetty Burgin Walker, and
I'm Libby Norton. It was supposed to be Karen Packard, but I'm Libby Norton. And I'm granddaughter.
Libby.
I'm granddaughter of Brooks Lytle, daughter of Thomas Lytle.
But this time we're gonna recognize the family members that we've had, a list of those that we've lost this past year. And if you don't hear a name mentioned, when we get through, I want to collect more names. Stephen Howard Lytle. Dr. Johnny E. Preston. Linda Walker. Sheila Page Kilpatrick. Kenneth Dean Burgin. Terry Hebert. Margaret Bean Grindstaff. Alan Baker. Charles William Burgin. Jewel Walker. Carol Haynes Rayburn. Claudia Jean Lytle. Does anybody have anything to add?
Becky Jo Bergen.
Becky Jo.
Glance.
William Patterson.
Did you get that?
Is that all?
William Edward Burgin.
Thank you.
Let's see, we're going to be doing an offering, and David Lytle and Chad Lytle will be taking.
Jason Seyfried's gonna do it for Chad.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Jason, for standing in for the baby daddy over here. He's keeping the baby quiet. Dream on, right? Okay, so now we are at the history update. So, has anybody got anything they want to bring up? They want to bring up before you hear me read a story again. You know, last year we read the story about about Thomas Lytle, and this year we got a little something I'm going to read for you. Anybody got anything they want to say? They want to bring up? Anybody done any more research? I know I did talk to Poteet. Was it Bill? What's his name? I don't remember his first name. Mr. Poteet yesterday, and he had traced the Lytles back 30 generations. So we're going to get some. I'm going to get him to start putting some stuff together so he can be up here and talk to us next year.
Barbara, we do have possession on the Burgin Lytle.
Did y'all see that? You did it? Was anybody? Were y'all there yesterday? Did you see the Burgin Bible? We got it back. Yes.
Got it back?
Yes.
California Archive?
Linda Burgin, had contacted me, and we knew that it was in possession of Peggy Silvers when she passed away, and we were able to get it back.
Yep.
From- yeah.
Yay! I reckon she couldn't handle the pressure anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. Her granddaughter had it, and we had been kind of poking her for a while, and we've been on our Facebook page. If you just join Facebook just to be on the Burgin Lytle reunion, okay? You don't have to be friends with anybody else, but be friends with us, and that way you'll see all these things. And you'll see the pictures from this weekend, and then you'll see the reminders to, hey, it's coming up, those kind of things. So,
And I'll make this announcement too. We struggle with finding everybody that's passed in the year. So if somebody in the family passes, you can update that on the Burgin page, and we'll get that on the reunion page, and we'll get that put together for next year.
I noticed there were some updates to Echoes in the Mist. Who is doing the updates and?
There's nothing been done since Peggy passed away,
Oh,
so
really?
we need to, we're gonna talk about that and see,
Okay, good.
so
what we can do.
we need some volunteers to help with the committee, not just the same people, y'all. It's been the same people for what, 10 years? We
do
need,
help.
yeah, we need to step up, and we need to help, and that way we can start doing the things that we're trying to do. I do have this stuff to go on the web page, but I need some help setting the web page up. I got the stuff to put on it, but I just need my IT people to, to get that web page set up, and then I can input everything. I've got everything scanned from 1931 to 2007. So got the first book ready to go. And some of those bulletins and some of the meeting minutes from the reunions, they got some really cool stuff in there that you really need to read. And there's also some pictures that we take and that's been in these archives. It's going to be really cool when we get that all uploaded for you. But I want to make sure you guys get to see it. So today, I'm going to read something to you. This was in the paper back in the 1940s. And it's really cool. And I'm a Lytle. Sorry, Burgins, but so when I see Lytle, I'm like, I grab that. So on Sunday, July 21st at 3:00 in the Bethel Church Cemetery on Crooked Creek, the Greenlee chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution unveiled a stone at the grave of Captain Thomas Lytle Sr., pioneer, noted Whig leader, officer of the Revolutionary War, and progenitor of the family of that name in McDowell and other counties of North Carolina. The ceremony was the final part of the program of the day, the occasion being the 10th annual reunion of the Burgin and Lytle families. Mrs. J.B. Johnson of Old Fort, with the assistance of other members of the chapter, dedicated the marker. The war records of Captain Lytle and his activities during that part of the nation's history were recounted by Mrs. Mary Greenlee from the Carson House. This is the good part, y'all. Little Shirley Ann and Thomas Lytle, children of Mr. and Mrs. Brooks Lytle of Old Fort, and Tiny Joan, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Joan Allen. That's not the right Joan Day. Of Asheville, children of the 7th generation, pulled the cords in the unveiling. Infant Barbara Elliott, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Taft Elliott, and infant Frances Smith, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. T.R. Smith, children of the 8th generation from Captain Thomas Lytle, were present at the unveiling. Isn't that great? Isn't that right out here on the hill, right? Come on, jump in.
Thomas and Shirley. Thomas was my father, and Shirley was my aunt. And Clarence Lytle was supposed to do it instead of my dad, but he chickened out. So they let my dad wear his outfit that they had bought just for the
Oh my
unveiling.
gosh.
And I have a photo.
I was going to say, if you got pictures, see, that's the kind of stuff we got to have, y'all. We've got, have you ever been to, what's the name of one of the restaurants? Help me, Ricky. Like Cracker Barrel or something. Where's this restaurant we go to that has all those old pictures of people? Cracker Barrel. Do you ever think about whose ancestors those are?
Yeah.
And how they got those pictures? You want me to tell you how they got those pictures? People sell them at yard sales. They don't know who they are. Yeah, that's how they get those things. Sell them all, yeah. And it's such a, I don't know. It's a shame. It is. So, you know what? Carson House is putting together genealogy. You got something that nobody in the family wants, or maybe you're the end of the line, okay? It's okay to be the end of the line. We know where we can put it now, where it's going to be safe forever for everybody else in the family. You know, somebody else's granddaughter might want that picture, but she ain't got nowhere to put it. She doesn't have a house. She lives overseas, you know, something like that. So think about that when you, I have my great-great-great-grandmother's picture on my side of the family. The came from the DePauliers, but I have it in the Lytle house because that's at least I had to put it, you know. So, but yeah, but you flip that, it scares my grandchildren because it's, you know, it's one like that. She, you know, she's real mean looking. I hope she wasn't mean. Okay, last thing, we're going to read just something really quick, and I will be really fast. Now, this is about Captain Thomas Lytle also. Now, last year we read the story about him, you know, when he was in the retirement home here, and they printed it in the paper. But this is a story about him, and he wanted to go and see his wife, his girl, and he was broke because he hadn't gotten paid. He was in the war. He was tattered, and he was hungry. Okay, so his clothes looked like crap. He was hungry, and he didn't have any money. And this was Vance. This was when Vance was governor. Governor Vance was a man of action who believed that deeds speak more forcefully than words. He even went out and ran through the enemy blockades himself, giving the northern ships the slip every time. Once, early in 1864, he smuggled in an immense quantity of a good quality gray cloth from which uniforms could be made. Shortly after the cloth had been brought in, Lytle got a furlough to be taken 6 months later. He was ragged, unkept, and penniless, in no suitable condition to appear in public, much less go home and see his sweetheart. He finally got orders to go to Raleigh and be measured for a new uniform, which was to be made out of the cloth smuggled in by the governor. He did so and gave the tailor his name, the number of his company, etc. He then told that his uniform would be ready for him when he started home on his furlough. So he was going to get all dolled up, go home, and try and woo his girl. When the time for him to take his leave rolled around, he sped post-haste to the tailor and asked for his uniform. The tailor got it out, but instead of handing it to Lytle, he demanded a certain amount of money for his service, which he said would have to be paid before he could give him his uniform. The young soldier, only 19 years old at that time, pleaded with the tailor, telling him how important it was that he got it. The cloth had been donated, but the tailor demanded money. Inconsolable, he wandered about the city in a quandary. He couldn't go home, hungry, penniless, and no uniform. I'm kind of jumping around here. As the veteran related this part of the story, he was telling the story to the reporter, and you could tell that he was envisioning those days. As he continued his narrative, his eyes rested for a few moments on the McDowell County Courthouse across the street, which in all probability was transfigured into the state capitol with Zeb Vance standing at one of the windows. And he's sitting there visually, he's telling the reporter, oh, I can see him standing at the window. So Vance picked up a pencil after he went and saw Governor Vance, told him his issue. Vance picked up a pencil and wrote something on a slip of paper, then told Lytle, take it to the tailor and see what the result would be. When the tailor read the note, he, without another word, delivered the uniform. Resplendent in his new uniform and other trappings, he hurried to McDowell County to see his sweetheart, Miss Eliza A. Burgin. who became his wife on September 19th, 1865, a few months after Lee's surrender. Which, it goes on, and I think all this stuff comes from Ricky's Aunt Linda, but it's some really cool stuff, cool stories that you can tell that Teresa was talking about earlier, stories that we need to make sure we tell our grandchildren so they can share and
I'm
pass.
sorry, I've got to say,
Please.
that would have been Thomas Young's Lytle
Yes,
in
Yep.
the Confederate War.
yes.
So not Captain Thomas Lytle. but
No.
Thomas Young.
No. He was a captain too, though, yeah. But it's not the older one.
Right.
There's like two. You know, this family, and I'm sure my family did the same thing, we name people the same thing a lot. Yeah, if you go back and start tracing that stuff, we were doing some yesterday, and it's like, they're the same. And then this Burgin and Lytle married over here, and then like 2 generations later, this Burgin and Lytle married. And that's why we have a Burgin Lytle reunion, right? All right, anybody got anything else they wanna mention? Anybody wanna take over the genealogy portion? Okay. All right, so we're gonna start working on, get more hot and heavy on the website. So, now we're gonna get our song leader back up here. Thank you.
Okay, everybody needs to stand and stretch. So we're going to sing the first verse of What a Friend We Have in Jesus. This will get your blood flowing now. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear, and what a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. You're doing good.
All right, now comes some awards and stuff. So we'd like to know who is attending the reunion for the first time. Do you have any first-time attendees here? Yay! All right. And out-of-county state attendees. Okay, so, one. Now, Barbara, we need to count these.
We'll wait till we, do the Burgin Lytle.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, okay. And the youngest and the oldest. Who is the youngest?
Is it Baby Leo? Hey, Baby Leo.
Okay, so is that baby Leo?
I call him, his name is Leo Lytle.
Leo
Hey, Leo
Lytle.
Lytle. He sure did.
Okay. And there is a prize for the youngest. It is a bank made by Chris.
Donated.
Donated by Chris, okay. Oh, cool. Wow, that is too nice.
You got Poppy and Paul and Uncle Kevin.
Can y'all turn that light off or step away from it? Because, that's not right.
Oh, well, look at that. It does turn off.
Well, that's
Y'all call Leo.
It's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna get you on my knee.
Okay. Now, we come to the oldest person. Let's see, someone's got to be 27 here. Okay.
97. Anybody else here older than 97?
97.
He's not gonna be able to come on.
I'm gonna bring.
Okay, who do we have? Who's 97?
They wanna know who's the oldest, and you won.
Okay. And this is a cane. Who made the cane here?
Chris.
Chris made the cane.
Oh, he's guarding the food.
Okay.
He's warming the food.
All right.
You don't have to. That's him. Look at you. And he made you two. One for each hand. Isn't that great?
All right, y'all, look this way.
You just skiing. This is where you're skiing.
Ski poles. And Karen, what's his name?
Jeannie got it.
Okay, all right. That's what we're trying to find out.
Odell Patterson.
Odell Patterson.
Odell Patterson. Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here too.
Okay. Now, the most distance traveled to get here today.
Who's from the furthest away?
From the furthest away. Have anybody from Alaska?
638 miles.
Woo!
Anybody travel further than 638 miles?
We're 638 miles. Where is that?
Mississippi. Okay. Come
Come on up here, girlfriend. We're gonna tell you what you got.
Yeah.
Ron, tell them.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Tell everybody who you
Okay,
are.
we have a basket here for the person who traveled the most. It has, let's see, Lytle Mountain Honey, Kraut, a candle by Rick Lytle,
Barbara, hold your head up.
Sorry.
All I'm getting is,
and it has soap and body balm by Larry and Beth Lytle. Then we have tea towels from Jeannie. Wow. And a basket of Grandma's cookies by Karen. Oh my God, those are the best cookies. Y'all have to eat. You have to eat these cookies when you go over. And let's see, then we have hot sauce by Chris in the basket.
I'm a safety lady at work, so I have to. Perfect. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming all this way. Can't wait to see you next year.
Okay. Then, now it comes to the Burgin Lytle Trophy. Okay? So I guess if you're with the Lytle family, stand please. Okay, so you count them. Okay.
Sorry.
25. Okay. Now, if you're with the Burgin family, if you'd please stand.
But I can say with both.
Yeah, some of you did.
if you're married to the Burgin, you count as well.
Yeah.
$27.
28.
Barbara, did you count us? Did you count us?
28, 29, 30. Oh, did you count me? Did you count me, Barbara?
No.
31.
It goes to the oldest person here.
Guess who gets to bring it back next year? Your family is well. He rules with the iron fist, and he's like, no, I'm not there. We're gonna have to start doing that, y'all. Well, I was gonna live it. We gotta start cracking a whip.
Okay, now we're going to do a little singing. Let's see, we're going to sing Rock of Ages this time? Okay. All right.
She's gonna make you stand up, so you're gonna do it.
You need to stretch. Stand up. You sing better when you're standing up. One verse. First verse. Rock of ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from the riverside which flowed be of sin the double cure. Cleanse me from its guilt and harm. You did well.
Okay. Now we're going to take care of a little business here. Karen Packer is going to give the secretary's report.
So, if I counted correctly, last year on Saturday, we had 45 in attendance. This year, we had 47 in attendance that signed in. And last year on Sunday, we had 50 that signed in. And today, if I count everybody here and the two that are up at the fire department, there's 61. So we went up this year as well for that. Creeping up, yeah. The committee met a total of 4 times and then have been working Friday and Saturday and Sunday to make this happen. And we appreciate everybody that brings all the historical information back every year and sets it out. The kids had a wonderful time yesterday. Barbara does a really good job of making sure there are activities there for children. So if you have family members that have children and they're just worried about them not having something to do, there's plenty there for them to do. A whole long table of things was there yesterday. The information was placed in the McDowell newspaper about the reunion and it went out on the radio. It was close to the time, but I think next year we'll start advertising a little bit earlier. There was also signs posted at the local churches in the community so that people attending church that doesn't get the information by mail had the sign that said it was happening this weekend. So that was posted over at Cherry Springs, up here, somewhere else. I don't know where.
There's 5.
5 posted in the community.
There's 5 around the town.
Yeah. And I want to go back to using the same name over and over and over again in the family. So I get calls every year from somebody that says you have my address wrong or you have my name wrong, but usually it's my address and they send me the address or give me the address, but they don't tell me what their address was before. I have their name and address, but I have 5 people with the same name, so I don't know which one to take out the list. So then the next year they say, well, you gave me this and I got it in both addresses and that's not my address. And I'm like, can you tell me what your old address was so I can take that out? So that causes issues even now because I'll get calls from California, all the way up and north. And we get mailings back from people that say they appreciate that we're still having a reunion, but they're too old to travel and they can't get here from out of state. So I wish everybody that reaches out and says thank you to be here, but they can't. But we appreciate y'all coming. Come back next year and bring somebody with you.
Thank you, Karen. Now we're going to have Joan Lytle give the treasurer's report.
The beginning of this year's reunion, we had $987.86. Since then, we have spent money for the mail outs. We had to get ink for the print. We bought refreshments for yesterday, and the flowers for the memorial. The rent on the building would be $200. The cemetery, we always give $200. The Bethel Church, we give $100, which is a total of $791.94, and that left $195.92.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, and it says election of officers. Okay.
Just a vice president and a Burgin.
Okay, we need a vice president who is a Burgin that would be interested in that. Does anybody want to nominate anyone, or?
I'm a Lytle. I'm gonna be president next year. I can't do both. We since the Lytle will be the president next year, the vice president needs to be a Burgin. That's how we, yeah.
And there's a lot of work on this weekend, and we do meet 3 or 4 times a year, but 3 or 4 times a year is just a couple hours.
Yeah.
At most 3 hours, depending on how much fun we're having.
Yeah, when they asked me to be the president, and I was like, ugh. But it's been really fun, yeah. And the meetings are short, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
We keep it in line.
Does anybody want to volunteer?
Yes, volunteers.
Burgin, come on. You wanna do it? Howard's he's gonna play music anyway. You might as well.
You've got a good
Look at
community.
there. Yeah, we got it.
Okay, we got him.
Yay!
Okay. Yay. Okay.
So she'll be vice president next year, and then the following year, she'll be president. Woo!
But you got a good support system.
Okay.
We're all in it together.
Okay, so and it says election of committee members. So I guess we have election of officers, election of committee members. So next year,
Volunteers.
you will be the president.
I'll be president, and she'll be vice president.
Okay, all right.
And then
good.
Unless someone else is wanting to step up or nominate someone else. We are not just saying we're taking all of this. If you're gonna do it correctly, you're supposed to say, are there any nominations from the floor,
Oh,
the
yeah.
secretary?
Oh, yeah, parliamentary procedure.
Yeah. Some people want.
Okay, so what do I need to say now? No, we're
Is
good.
there any other
Is there
volunteers?
any?
Are there any other volunteers? Okay, so is everybody in agreement with that, I guess?
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye. Any noes?
Something.
Okay. Okay. So, I guess we're gonna have a little song here again. I'll fly away.
Okay, we're gonna rock this on, so stand up. First and last verse. And some glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. Oh, I'll fly away.
and we're going to do a little benediction here. And before we do that, let's have Keith Walker. Would you go ahead and bless our meal that we're going to have?
Sure.
Thank you.
Lord God, we just thank you for the opportunity to gather together, Lord, and celebrate family. Lord, I just pray your blessings on every family and extended family represented here. Lord, we ask that you bless the food and the nourishment of our bodies and us your service. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay. All right, and for our benediction, we're going to read the first verse of Blessed Be the Tie That Binds. Okay. Blessed be the tie that binds our hearts in Christian love. The fellowship of kindred minds is like that to above. Okay, and now we'll meet out front for our annual picture before we go to eat. Thank you very much.